I got an email that I'm going to read, and I got permission to read it. So, I wanted to talk a little bit, just as a little bit of a primer. I wanted to talk about, because of this email, a little bit about like the financial side of youth hockey. Um, and I was we were talking about it yesterday. I was trying to figure out like how to present the topic, like what is the thread, and I don't really think there is one. I think it's kind of just a discussion about like how money is spent in youth hockey, like good and bad, or what you might want to spend it on versus not, and different options depending on who you are, player versus parent versus coach, and what your goals might be. Because I think there's a lot to talk about with that. So I'm going to start with this email, and then we'll get into it. Okay. Um, so here we go. Hey guys, this year I became head coach of my son's minor U9 C tier hockey team. What started as a volunteer role to open the door, uh, it sort of turned into coaching and managing, a fortunate accident as it turns out. With a mediocre minor career under my belt and a desire to improve my understanding of the game and my ability to coach, I found your podcast. Honest, pointed, and practical. I apologize if you have covered this, but our team was fortunate enough to receive a donation of $600, and I'm looking at ways to maximize this money. A lot of these kids are first year players, and I would argue equally as dedicated to the sport or the team and developing their skills as any higher tier. I feel they deserve my best effort to put this money to good use, so I thought I would ask you, wonderful folks. Even though we don't take the scoreboard too seriously, I do take the human development and potential positive impact very seriously. It's been such a great opportunity. I have discussed with my other coaches and social team and have had a mix of answers. So then he gave a couple options on things they could do with the money. Is there a less than ideal answer here? Thanks so much for any input. If there's a specific podcast that you cover this in depth, please let me know. Keep up the awesome content. P.S. It's awesome to watch an engineer apply their analytical brain to other scenarios. Thanks, Eric. Thank you. Thank you. So, this was kind of a cool topic. So we'll get into like a lot deeper into the financial side of things, but with this specific example, so here's a team, U9, young team. They got $600 extra now in their budget to do whatever they want. So here's a couple things that he threw out as the ideas that they brainstormed, and then you can just kind of take and answer the question however you want. So one idea to spend this money was get a third jersey with our team specific logo, or just like a general kit of gear, stuff like that for the kids. Renting out a local school gym or something for off-ice games or a fun day or something like that. A couple larger scale team social events. Put the money to reducing costs of a tournament, or hire a skill coach or power skating coach to come to a few practices. So those were a couple of their ideas. So to boil it down to a question for you, what would you do in this situation? And what do you think of the potential ideas that they've brainstormed, or is there another one that you kind of think would be appropriate? So just kind of what do you think of it in general?
Well, typically, if I was to say that you had extra money to put into the team, I would most always say do some sort of development with someone decent.
Right. Yeah.
Not just somebody.
Provided it's someone decent.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Find someone decent to do some development. That would be my go-to pretty much every time. And that doesn't mean it's on the ice. Could be, because the team building you can get in a they're U9, so this makes it a lot different as well. So I think the fun element could be part of it. But I would say, in a typical answer, I would say some sort of development where you could apply it to making the kids better. This seems like it was someone that said, here's $600 to do whatever you want with the team. So it's not, the caveat here is that it's not it's not fundraising and car washes where you have thousands of dollars left over to waste.
You're right. Yeah.
Right. So it's different. So I think this is someone that said, go give your team something on me. So, and I think $600, although that's a lot of money, kinda, you can get through that pretty quick, right? So seeing that they're U9, and what level is it?
Said C, so I don't know what tier C is.
Okay, so let's say it's not AAA, it's maybe a AA or less, and they're a U9, so they're 8 years old. I think maybe some kind of experience might be cool. Right now, this isn't my typical thing. This is in this situation. I think it would be cool that they had an experience. Like maybe it's a cool bus trip. I don't think you can get a bus for $600, or
Something like that,
like some
of
kind
event.
of event
Yeah.
where they had a lot of fun, or toque, or I don't know,
Yeah.
something like that. That's what I would go with that.
Yeah. So basically that's right along those same lines that I was thinking. So what my answer to him, because I answered him in the email before we did this, um, is the same as we always say. So in the vein of what you said to start the podcast, it's like it depends on like your group. Like what are they into, you know? So for a U9 teams, like they're little kids still, right? So for the
Another idea, just to cut you off, just so I can cut you off, is a really cool thing would be something that bonds the team. So maybe it's like the bracelets that have a slogan on it, or something that
right,
makes them a little
cool,
bit different individual.
right. So
Because it's not $1 million,
yeah,
and
you
it's
could
not
probably do that.
five,
Right,
but
right,
it's like
right.
something like the kids can go, okay, this, I'm part of this. This is cool.
Yeah, so what I said to him basically was along these lines of like I'm of two minds because on the one hand it's like he made a point to say like the kids are pretty into hockey more than their peers or just as much as any other team, but they're also still 8 years old. So how into it are we? You know? So on the one hand I said, "Hey, like it depends on your group." I was like if they seem like they're really into hockey and they would love to have a skills coach out or do like a special hockey training thing, if there's like a facility like ours somewhere and you want to do that, that's cool. But if they're not so much into that, and maybe you only have like some of the kids that are into that, then maybe it'd be better to do like the fun day thing where it's like you rent the gym and do something, or you have a team banquet type thing or whatever, and you can use money on that where the kids just have a good time and it's just like a good memory, whatever, good experience for the kids. So the point of that was, for to me at least, was like you have to know your group and what is appropriate. So from this question, I was kind of thinking more about just like the financial part of like how teams spend money. What is the priority? What are they valuing? What do they want to spend money on? And then the other question that popped into my head was like it also depends on whose perspective you're looking from, right? So for example, like when you're a kid, like or not even just a kid, any player, what do they want? Like they want free stuff, they want free gear, they want cool like team gitch stuff, you know, and they want to feel like they're pros, you know. So like if you go into a dressing room and there's clear tape that you didn't have to buy, like that's what kids want. Like that's what even in junior and up, like there's bubble gum on the table. Like that's what kids want. You know what I mean? There's free Gatorade. Like that's cool. Like that's what the kids value from the hockey side of it. And you know, I remember the realizing this kind of when I was playing with university. It's like they would spend money on stuff like trips. So we would have like we'd go wherever. Like the one year we went to Nashville, and another year they went to BC, and they went to New Orleans. They did all these different trips. Almost every year, I think they do a big trip, which costs a lot of money, especially for like a university level team. So for me, I was like, yeah, like the trips are cool, but it depends on whose lens you're looking at. So if you're the team and the organization and you want to sell a program, that's something that would sell your program, right? That sounds cool to a lot of people to get these experiences and to get fundraising money and all of these things. But if you flip that and look at it from the player side, like to me, that's cool, but I would rather have sticks or free gear or good meals on the bus or whatever. So I would rather take that money on the player end of it and make sure that our day-to-day experience is better, you know. But when you flip it to the organization side or the parent side, like parents might be like, how can I save some money? That might be what they're thinking. And then from the coaching side, it's like, how can we present our team in the most attractive way to get more players here? So a lot of those things conflict, right? Like there's not, you can't say, I want these great experiences for our team while at the same time paying for the day-to-day free stuff that the team gets. Those things might not be, you might not be able to do both things depending on what your budget is or how much money you have, you know? And so that's kind of the question that I was thinking of from that kind of sprung off of this is like when you're deciding what to do with money, it depends on who you're looking at, right? If you're the kid, if you're the coach, if you're the parent, you're going to have different goals in mind. Or if you're an organization, and the higher level you go, the more significant those things are. Like we were talking the other night about the pink jersey thing, right? How like all the junior teams will have like a pink jersey night or whatever, and you're kind of saying just like they don't need to do this. Like why do they have to do like the full pink jersey? And because like from the team perspective,
So old school.
yeah, but it's like from the team perspective, it's like what do you got? Why are you putting money into the pink jerseys or whatever? It's like it doesn't have to be this big show because you just care about like the hockey part. But if you're the Windsor Spitfires and you're trying to have an event thing that draws people in, and then you do
And they're supporting a cause. I get that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But to someone who I just care about playing hockey, like as a player, like I don't really care if we wear the pink jersey or not. You know what I mean? Like I can wear it if you want, and if we didn't, I wouldn't care. But from the organization side of it, it's like this is a good fundraising opportunity for us. It's a good way to get some buzz. It's a good way to sell more tickets. It's a good way to bring other people involved in the community and have like this big, make it bigger than just a normal game.
And support the cause. I think it's
Exactly.
great. Yeah.
Right. So that's another example of like depending on who you're looking at, like the players care because it's cool we wear a pink jersey and more people are going to come to the game, but they're not like dying to have a pink jersey on, you know? Whereas like on the organization side, it's different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that kinda make sense?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So
It's all perspective.
yeah. So like